Welcome to TCPIP Basics. My name is Robert McMillen. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and I'm here to bring you the basics of TCPIP. And these basic videos will be closely aligned to the Network Plus certification. So if you're taking the Network Plus certification in the future and you want to see what the objectives are, you will see them in this playlist and this course. It's also useful if you want to use it for these certifications. You can go for the A+, Cisco CCENT, the Cisco CCNA, or the SSCP certification. These certifications all have a lot of TCPIP in them. So if you're not that familiar with TCPIP, then this course is for you. There is no charge for this course. You can watch it as often as you like. So let's take a look at the different categories that are covered in this course. You can see our first video is going to be what's an IP address, followed by an IP demo, and you can see all the other courses there as well. Let's take a look at an IP address. We talk a lot about TCP/IP. That's actually two different protocols or languages, and that's because TCP can sit on top of IP. But TCP is not the only one. There can be other protocols that sit on top of IP as well. But in this video, we're just going to talk about IP addressing. So what's an IP address? Well, the definition would be a unique string of numbers separated by periods that identifies each computer using the Internet Protocol to communicate. Now that may sound kind of confusing if you don't know what all that means, but that's okay. We're going to break down all these different terms in this video as well as upcoming videos. So what does it do? Well, it allows communication between devices. This could mean billions of computers. It's not just the way we communicate over the internet, although that is what it is used for. It's also the way we communicate in an office or a home where there's more than one computing device, such as a PC, laptop, tablet, or phone. Many times we refer to these devices as hosts. So when you hear me talk about hosts in this course, they refer to one of those different types of devices. And all of them use an IP address to communicate. And what's really interesting about this is in the future, you're going to see just about anything you can plug into the wall for electricity is also going to get an IP address. And you can see the evidence of this by when you go to purchase a new refrigerator or a microwave or a toaster and a lot of other different things. Washing machines are all starting to come out with internet capabilities, which means they have IP addresses that are assigned to them. That means our jobs as IT administrators are going to get a lot more difficult as time goes on in keeping all these devices secure. Now, TCP/IP itself is a language. Actually, it's two languages. TCP is one language and IP is the other. In this particular case, we're just mainly talking about IP. So it's a common language for device communication. So if I wanted to talk to you, a couple of things have to happen. We both need to speak the same language, and we both have to be in the same room. If we're in different rooms separated by walls or we speak different languages, it's going to be really tough to communicate. Well, IP addressing allows for both of these things to happen in the computer world. And as I mentioned earlier, it's also used for accessing the internet. Anytime you want to use any device or host to go out to the internet, you're going to be using TCP/IP. So let's take a look at an example of what an IP version 4 address looks like. You can see here 192.168.0.1/24. Well, what does that mean? That looks kind of complicated. Well, let's break it down a little bit. What you see separated by these three different periods are called octets. So an octet means 2 to the 8th power. So if we add up these different octets, there's 4 of them here, then we have 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, so 32. That means an IP address is made up of 2 to the 32nd power. And this will make more sense in upcoming videos, but just keep that in mind for a second as we look at IP version 6 coming up. So what does this mean? Well, 192.168.0, those are the first 3 octets. So if you and I wanted to communicate in the same room, you have to start with 192.168.0 in this example, and my computer would have to start with 192.168.0. However, there's a last octet as well, and that number is 1. Now remember, the definition of an IP address has to be a unique number. Well, in this particular case, the first 3 octets have to be the same because that's the network address or the room address in our example. The .1 is the last octet, and that's our unique address. So I can't have the same address as you. If a mail person were to deliver mail and we both are on Main Street, and we both have a house on Main Street, my address cannot be the same as yours. Otherwise, the mail person won't know where to deliver the mail. So that's why we have to have a unique address in the computer world for the same reason. If we both have the same IP address, nobody knows how to reach us because 2 different computers respond to the same thing. Then there's the /24. So the /24, if you remember our octets we talked about earlier, remember 2 to the 8th power, 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. Well, in this particular case, we see a /24. So in the 192.168.0, we can see that's 8 plus 8 plus 8, and that equals 24. So we're separating our network from our host address by this /24. If we were to have a /16, where it would just be 8 plus 8, it would start at the 3rd octet, the 0 in this particular case. So all of this is going to make a lot more sense as we go through the videos that you'll see in this playlist. But for now, keep that in mind, that subnet mask is going to separate the network from the hosts. Now we see an IP version 6 address. So as I just mentioned, TCPIP version 4 is 2 to the 32nd power, yet version 6 is 2 to the 128th power. That's a lot more IP addresses. And that's because out on the internet, we ran out of the IP addresses for version 4. 2 to the 32nd power is only 4 billion addresses. We used that up a long time ago. Now we're on 2 to the 128th power of version 6, which is so many trillions of IP addresses. There's more IP addresses available than cells in your body. More IP addresses than probably the sand on your beach. That tells you how many addresses that we have. And it's a good thing too, because we're going to be assigning IP addresses to everything in the future. And we're going to have to figure out a way to secure all those addresses. So that's going to be our jobs as we go on. In our next video, I'm going to demonstrate an IP address on a Windows computer. So it will make a little bit more sense to you as we go through our TCPIP Basics course. I look forward to bringing all these TCPIP topics to you. I think you'll find them very useful in your IT career.